Today, we are diving deep into the 4-hour workweek. This is a book that really kicked off a movement, a blueprint for teaching the 9-to-5 grind and completely redesigning your life on your own terms. So, let's get into it and see what all the buzz is about. This is it. This is the big question the book throws you right from the start. And let's be real, it's a feeling a lot of us know. That nagging sense that our jobs own our lives instead of the other way around. The whole point here is to show you that there is another way. Okay, so this is the first huge mindset shift. The book argues that nobody really wants to be a millionaire. What they want is the lifestyle they think millionaires have. And what does that lifestyle really come down to? It's two things, having time and being able to go wherever you want, mobility. So the goal isn't to work yourself to the bone for a massive bank account, it's to engineer a life full of freedom. To start doing it right now. So how do we get there? Well, the book lays out this really simple 4-step framework. First, we're going to redefine our reality. Then we'll move on to elimination, then automation, and finally, liberation. Alright, let's jump in. First up, redefinition. This is all about breaking those mental chains that keep us stuck in the old way of thinking. It's about questioning everything we've been told about work, about what success looks like, and yeah, even about fear itself. You know, fear is probably the biggest thing holding most people back. So the book has this really simple but powerful exercise. Actually define your absolute worst case scenario. Seriously, what is the worst that could really happen if you took a leap and it didn't work out? What you usually find is that the fallout is totally fixable, and the fear in your head is way worse than reality could ever be. Now this one is a bit of a curveball. We're always told to set realistic goals, right? But the argument here is that's where all the competition is. Everyone's fighting tooth and nail for the same sensible jobs and promotions. When you aim for something that seems unrealistic, you often find you owe the whole field to yourself. So this new reality plays by a completely different set of rules. It's about owning a system, not being the boss so stuck working 12-hour days. It's about doubling down on your strengths and outsourcing everything else. And this is huge. It's understanding that making, say, $5,000 a month working 4 hours a week is infinitely better than making $10,000 a month working 80 hours a week. And, maybe most important of all, realizing that perfect moment is there. It's never gonna come. You just have to start now. Alright, so once you reset your mindset, we move on to step 2. Elimination. Now this is not about being lazy, not at all. It's about being incredibly effective, about cutting out all the noise so you can focus only on the few things that actually matter. Whoa, let that one sink in. The book's point is that busyness is often just a fancy form of procrastination. We fill our days with easy, low-impact stuff so we can feel like we're working, all while avoiding the 1 or 2 big important things we should be doing. The goal is not to be active, it's to be productive. So what's the secret weapon for this? It's a concept you probably heard of, the Pareto principle, aka the 80-20 rule. It basically says that in almost anything you do, a tiny fraction of your efforts, about 20% of your tasks or your clients, is responsible for the vast majority of your results, about 80%. Just look at this, see that little 20% slice? That is your gold mine. That's where all the magic happens. Your job is to figure out what that 20% is in your work and your life, and then be absolutely ruthless about eliminating, automating, or delegating the other 80%. Empirically, the 80-20 rule is its partner in crime, Parkinson's law. We follow this one. If you give yourself a week to finish a project, it'll take a week. But what if you only gave yourself 2 days? You'll probably get the same or even better results. Setting tight deadlines forces you to cut the fluff and focus on what's critical. A huge part of elimination is managing the constant flood of information. The book calls this going on an information diet. Stop scrolling the news and reading articles just in case you might need them. Focus only on what you need for the task right in front of you. You'll be amazed how much mental space that frees up. So, once you change your mindset and eliminated all the unnecessary stuff, it's time for step 3, automation. This is the fun part. It's all about building a business, what the book calls a muse, that makes you money without needing you to be there all the time. Now, the process for this is kind of backwards from how most people think. You don't build a product and then go looking for customers. No. First, you find a specific niche group of people. Then, you create a product just for them. An info product are often great places to learn. Step 3, you test the idea with some cheap ads before you even build the thing. And finally, once you know people want it, You build it, create systems, and outsource it day so it runs on its own. To make it even more real, the source gives you a target price range. A product costs between $50 and $200. It's kind of the sweet spot here. It's expensive enough to make you a good profit, but not so expensive that customers expect hours and hours of your personal time for support. The absolute key to making this whole automation dream a reality is getting outsourcing right. And that means you need systems, crystal clear, detailed procedures for every single task. You want to pay per project, not per hour, because that encourages speed and efficiency. And always every person you hire explaining your things back to you to make sure you're on the same page. And that brings us to the final, and let's be honest, the best part, liberation. This is the whole point, this is the payoff. It's about taking that time and freedom you engineered and actually, living the life you designed. This quote really challenges the whole idea of traditional retirement. I mean, think about it. Why would you spend the best, most energetic years of your life doing something you don't love? All for the promise of relaxing when you're 65. The goal here is to just totally escape that deferred life plan. So, instead of one giant retirement at the very end, the idea is to sprinkle many retirements all throughout your life. Take a month off to go learn Spanish in Spain. Spend 3 months backpacking through Southeast Asia. It's about filling your life with adventure and rest. No, not saving it all for later. But of course, it's not always a straight line to freedom. The book warns about falling back into those old bad habits, working just to feel busy, micromanaging people you hired to save you time, getting stuck in your inbox, letting perfectionism stop you, all of it. The goal is a business that serves your life, not a life that serves your business. And this, right here, is really the core message of the entire book. Don't wait, don't put off your happiness. The stars will never perfectly align. The time to start building the life you'll actually want, to start living it, is right now. So, that brings us to the final question, the one the book will leave you with. After hearing all this, what is one small, tangible step you can take today, right now, to start moving toward the life you really want? What's your first move going to be?